I'm going to give you a short talk on career services. Nice to meet you. I'm sure everybody you've met has said it's nice to meet you, but it is genuinely nice to meet you all. I brought my colleague in, and we're going to give you a little bit of background to careers and what we do. But first of all, I'd like to introduce myself, and then Claudia will introduce herself. I've been with ESADE for only about 10 months, so quite a short time. I joined from London Business School, where I was the head of experienced hire and operations. So I was working with people more senior in their career than you. But before LBS, I was with London School of Economics. So working with graduates and postgraduates, very much like yourselves. So I think in my time, you could say I've worked with a broad waterfront of candidates from some of the best universities and business schools in Europe, and ESADE is no exception. So it's really nice to be here. And this is my colleague Claudia.
Hi everybody, my name is Claudia. Despite my perfect British accent, I'm Italian. My background is as a human resource consultant. I have been working there as consultant for almost 9 years. In the middle, I had an MBA with focus on human resources again, and I joined ESADE in 2008. Since then, I've been in charge of advising students, trainings, and I like to define myself a really lucky person because I do the best job in the world. My job is actually to help each one of you to reach your dreams. And every time I can celebrate with each one of you, you have your dream come true. It's the best moment of my life. So this is me.
So what we're going to do today is I say, introduce you to career services. I want to take you through a few statistics from the class of 2014. We're going to look at what we do. We're also going to leave some time for you to ask us some questions, and we'll try and answer them for you. And also, there's a small, short, interactive session at the very end, before which I'll need to leave to go back to the office. So if you've got any questions, then by all means, ask Claudia or myself. And one more colleague called Georgina, who's been very quiet.
I thought I was going to be introduced.
Well, I'd like to introduce all my team.
Hi, everyone. Bueno, I speak quite loud, but okay, it's okay. I'm Spanish, so we speak loud, so get used to that. I'm Georgia. I'm a psychologist. I have a master in human resources, and in my other life, I was a recruiter. Yes, I was in the dark side. I'm in the career services team. I'm in the more like the corporate relationship side. So I develop contacts with companies, and I help you when you know for sure you have an interview with Endesa, BP, Shell, or any company regarding to the sectors I manage to help you to succeed in that interview. Because I know more or less what they will ask you. I know more or less what are the typical mistakes that all of us, and I include myself, do. So I'm trying to help you to go to the next round and to the next round until you get to the alpha. Okay, so that's me. Welcome everyone.
So one of the key things there is we are a very international team. I am probably the only non-Spanish speaker in the office. I'm learning. It's a very steep learning curve for me. But we do have a very international team. I can see you're quite international as well. How are we structured? We are a career management team and a corporate partnership team. The names won't mean anything to you, and I'm not expecting you to memorize the names. What's important for this is for you to understand the sectors that we cover. So I would suggest we cover most of the sectors that you're looking at, and we're also regionally focused. The key thing I want to do is to make sure that we are internationally and outward facing, and not only Spanish and inward facing. So the team are covering the key regions where the majority of the students or graduates from ESADE graduate into. If there is one of the sectors listed that you're not interested in, it doesn't mean to say that we don't cover it. It just means to say that we are probably more focused on the more popular sectors that the majority of students are looking at. We are facilitators, we're experts, we're your partners, and we will begin to work with you very early on in your time at ESADE. And we will work with you right the way through, not just until the end of your program, but beyond your program. So you'll get to know us, you'll get to know Claudia very well, but you will see us around from the very beginning of your time here at ESADE. Okay.
Okay. So this slide is to provide you an idea of which kind of activities you will be doing with us. As you can see, we have a first group of activity that is individual. So it is for face-to-face meeting with us. You can book whenever you want, as many times as you want, personal meeting with us. And you can do it for several reasons. For CV and cover letter review, for example, for mock interviews. So whenever you have to face a real selection process, you can first have a meeting with us, and we can train you for specific companies. You can have strategy meetings that are to help you to define the best steps in order to reach your goal. So we will be identifying your main priorities, your main skills, which is the best fit for you, and then how to develop the strategy to reach the company you have in mind. Development sessions are aimed to help you to develop specific skills that you feel that are not so strong at the moment in your profile. So let's say that you would like to improve your communication skills or your ability to have an impact on others. We can help you with specific tailored sessions, these kind of skills. Feedback and follow-up sessions are an opportunity to check how your strategy is going, if there is anything that we should improve, something that maybe we can change in order to make your future step easier. And finally, there is the sector-specific advising. As you see, there is a part of the team, the corporate partnership team, who is focused on specific sectors. So you can have meetings with them, the person in charge of your dream sector, so they can help you with the specific insight of this sector or whatever company you have in mind. So this is personal-based. Then we have some activities that are, of course, in groups. So we have trainings. So we have a seminar called Managing Your Professional Career, where we will be developing different sessions, different topics, from more basic ones as the cover letter to assessment centers, crack the case sessions for the ones interested in consulting or investment banks and so on. And then there will be a lot of activities organized with real companies coming here, doing seminars, presenting themselves, interviewing on campus and so on. So a really complete panel of activities for you all. This is how the year with career services look like. I know that you will be really busy with your academic things, but we will be also there during the whole year. As Ian was mentioning, we will actually start to bother you even before you arrive here, because we will be preparing a CV book that recollects all the CV of our Master of Science students, so we can sell your profile to interesting companies. They will be receiving the CV book. They can analyze the profiles. They can invite you proactively for interviews, so you don't have to apply, don't do any effort, and they will call you. So it's a really important tool we have, but we need your cooperation in order to develop it. So be ready, because during the following months, as soon as you join ESADE, we will start to ask you to prepare your CV, following our standards.
Please don't put us in your spam folder. Thank you.
I mean, again, we are partners. We are here to help you, not to bother you, to try to cooperate with us as much as possible. There will be 2 main events with companies. Generally, the first one is early in October, because a lot of sectors, especially consulting in some countries and investment banks in London, they have really early deadlines to apply. So we will be inviting companies here. And then we will have another event in February, more open to other sectors that have deadlines in other moments of the year. During the whole period of the year, of course, you will be researching your target companies. Networking will be key, because it's absolutely crucial. As soon as you join ESADE, you will be able to be part of an amazing community of alumni who are there to help you. We also have a mentorship program where alumni from previous years working in companies will help you if you are interested in the same company. So networking is absolutely key. Case preparation, again, for the ones interested in sectors as consulting and IB is a must. So it's something that you will have to prepare during the whole year. And then, of course, there are the application processes. So from the very beginning, the cover letter, tailored for each company, and so on, the preparation of interviews, and so on. Again, we will be here in every moment, available for anything you may need in order to prepare and to perform as much as in the best way in front of real companies. We will analyze the placement of our Master of Science students. You will see how successful are they every single year. So consider us as friends, partners, willing to help you in any moment.
Okay, thanks. Consider it as bossy parents, actually, because sometimes you just need corralling into the right space. The CVs, I'm really excited that we have become a primary partner with a company called VMOC. We were one of the first partners in Europe to partner with them. They are now going into most of the top business schools in the world, and you'll get an email from us asking you to upload your CV onto this system. And the reason why I'm really excited by it is because it will assess your CV, it will give you the feedback, it's very intuitive, and on a score of, a percent score of 0 to 100, it will tell you how you're doing. And if you're repeating words or phrases in the CV, which are distractors to recruiters, it will also tell you that. So by the time we start to look at your CV, it should be in a very good space for us to send it out to recruiters. So I'm constantly looking for new applications which are taking you into the regions of recruitment that I'm expecting. Now here's some high-level figures for you. I'm assessed on recruitment and students into recruitment. You can see that the class of 2014, we've got 93% who have told us that they are working 3 months after graduation. The exciting thing is we haven't yet closed that. It may close in the next 2 weeks. So I'm expecting it to go up by possibly 1, maybe 2% to 95%, which I think is a fabulous employment rate. I came from LSE, and if I compare it to LSE or to Oxford or Cambridge, which I'm more familiar with, it's a very, very good comparator. And if you can see also that the response rate that we're getting is around about 96%. So most of the people that we send our survey to will come back and tell us that they are working and where they're working. So the data is very, very, very good. We've gone up slightly on last year, which again is a positive outlook in the marketplace that you are probably beginning to look at. This is just a regional look at where do the students typically go and work. We can see that, or I can see that a majority or a small majority has increased or are increasingly looking at staying in Spain. And why not? You know, Barcelona, cracking place to live. Some of the headquarters are here as well. So if you are looking to stay in Spain and Barcelona, there are job opportunities. But I also know that the majority of MSCs want to go back into Europe, into some of the capital cities. So in total, we've got about 88% of the MSc class who are coming here, studying, and then going back into the rest of Europe. So you can see a net gain for Spain, slightly less who are coming from Europe, staying in Spain, but still positive numbers. What's also interesting for me, we've got smaller numbers in the Middle East, but there is a small numbers going into the Middle East and to Latin America. And this is why I'm keen for the team that I have to be regionally focused. We can't just be looking at a national or even European market. We need to make sure that we are looking at all the key regions that you too are looking for. This is probably one of the slides that I think you know what slide this is you're most going to be interested in, but this is one of the slides that you may be interested in. We can see that nearly 2/3 of the MSc students this is the average. So this is all the MSc students from all the programs. About 2/3 are going into industry, about 1/5 into consulting, and a little bit less into financial services. So probably the sectors that you're expecting to see. Now the next slide contains a lot of data. So if suddenly you're faced with something that you weren't expecting, then I'll just give you a moment to look at it. What this is showing us is it's the sector and it's the function. And the reason why I wanted to show you this to you is because it gives you an idea. Following your MSc, where will you go? And it may be into finance, it could be into general management, or marketing and sales. But then in that sector, what might you be doing? So you can see maybe investment banking, sales and trading, analyst, brand management. They're all open to you. You think, or you may think, the hard work is getting into ESADE. And it is hard. But the hard work also continues once you're here. And I'm expecting you to be going into the top positions. And if you are looking at these, then you really need to come in with a plan, a very clear plan, and start working with us. Because these are where your peers are going, and that's what I'm expecting from you. I thought, just as a comparison, you might like to see what the SEM students do. And I only chose this simply because I could have chosen any of the MSc programs. But what I would point out to you, again, it's a very high percentage rate who are working after they graduate, 97%, which is, I feel, excellent. And by sector, we can see slightly fewer going into manufacturing, slightly more going into consulting and financial services. So if SEMS is a program that you're thinking about, typically this is where these students go to work, in the sectors and the functions. This just begins to give you an idea as to what are the jobs, where are they, what are the titles that the students are looking at from the MSc program. Now, this is sometimes what we're often asked, is what's the average, or what's the salary I can expect from my program? Averages can hide lots and lots of things. And I think, was it Winston Churchill who said statistics can hide even more, rather like a bikini? Anyway, we can see that the international salary for MSc students is higher than the average for those who remain in Spain. So while more students are staying in Spain, the salaries in Spain are lower. So if you're looking at an international career, then it's more likely that you will be earning more once you graduate. And as you go into the future careers, then that will be a very good marker for you to put down to future recruiters. And the average of all the MSc students coming out, the MSc is just under 39,000 euros. That's for all the MScs. I think this one will give you the averages for the programs that you may be interested in. Averages, but at least it gives you some indication as to what you can expect. There is a rather high salary up there from the finance. Anybody interested in doing an MSc in finance? Okay. Are you aiming for 130,000?
Be nice.
It would be very nice. It was somebody who went to work in the Middle East, which tends to pay more attractive salaries. But a very good for a postgraduate, an excellent actually starting salary. And the minimums, I would suggest that they are more for those. We have a very strong entrepreneurial focus here, but somebody who's going into starting their own business or working entrepreneurially, 20,000, 18,000 is a very, very good starting salary. So you can see that there is a variety, and I'd probably leave it to you to look at what is more a realistic level for you or your program. Any questions about the statistics I've just shown, or do you want to save them until the very end? Okay, let me go on to the next slide. very quick. I think I've got about 2 slides to go through. So we take a 5-step process to your career management. So very simple. We expect you to work with us to develop your self-awareness. And we want to explore with you, we want to partner with you, what it is that you're looking for. Because some of you will come in with very clear plans, and some may want to explore opportunities that you've not explored already. So we will explore with you. We also want to make sure that you're making the right decisions for the right reasons, and that you are you have a very clear goal. Because one of the worst things that you can do is to come in here and then leave things until the last term of your year, and then you find that you have missed the opportunities that we are posting through our career portal system, or the opportunities that come onto campus. So this is why you'll start to see Claudia very, very soon into your program. We want to get you into the right space with the right ideas for meeting the recruiters. And the job search, of course, is important. You may have a plan A, but we know that plans change. They change over time because of the market, or they change because we change. So we're also expecting you to have a plan B, and maybe a plan C. But all this is leading to what you will frequently see once you go into your career is continuous professional development. And what we're giving you is not the tools to find the first job after this program, but we're giving you the tools that will help you in your career. So it's the first job, after the first job, after the next job, if you see what I mean. Okay? You put into practice what faculty is giving you in the classroom. You may have work experience, or you may be looking for work experience. Your extracurricular activities. The number of times I've spoken to recruiters from some of the bulge bracket banks who've said the extracurricular activities that students do, it means so much to us. So that's important. And how do you present yourself? How do you analyze information? So these sort of tips is what I think you should be sort of beginning to apply. And how do you apply it? Do you apply it in your CV or on an application? Yes, but you'd also want to show some of these when you go into a room and pitch yourself to a recruiter. These are the top recruiters who we deal with. And I think it's no surprise that Google is number 1. And I think it's no surprise that in the top 5 we've got about 3 consulting firms and a couple of the large financial services firms. So the names I'm sure you are very, very familiar with. McKinsey, Procter & Gamble, BCG. They are probably the firms that you are shooting for. But there are plenty more to look at. And that's why I'd be very keen for you to explore not just the top 5 or the top 10, and not even just the top 20. There are some very good guides which go into the top 100 recruiters for postgraduates. And I think finally, questions.
Thank you. Do you think it is important to hire career manager headhunters?
For you to hire?
No. If you think we should.
Should you use headhunters? No. 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 I mean, the headhunters are taking a different approach to looking for your career, and we have a headhunter in the room. But we can give you the skills. We can work with you on what you should be looking at this stage in your career. Maybe in 5 years' time, you're using a headhunter. I can see you nodding.
Completely right. I mean, generally, headhunters are for more senior profile. It may happen that some companies that offer graduate programs will use headhunters, but they will be looking for you. You don't have to do anything at all. Trust us.
Have you got a LinkedIn profile? Yeah, good. I mean, that's a very good starting point. Yeah.
I see that you keep in touch with former students. What's their feedback about their satisfaction with their first job?
In general, I can tell you that generally the satisfaction is really high. we see a kind of normal trend. After 3 years, they start to feel the desire of something new, new challenges, and so on. But in general, the reality is that they are really happy with, the first recruiter is Google. Nobody left Google. They are moving around everywhere in the world. So they used to change country, but not company. After consulting, it may happen. After a few years, they prefer to move to industry, other companies, and so on. But there are very few cases of students who are not happy with the first choice after their Master of Science.
And my experience says that if you're looking at a rotational program, which may be 12, 18 months, that's by the time that's finished, you're only just beginning to settle into your real first career. Probably the ones which may be the exception to that are the consulting firms, and they would be positively encouraging you after about 3.5 years to go back and do an MBA. So we would say that the satisfaction rate for most students is very high.
Any other question? Nothing else? No curiosity?
You're a very kind group. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I hope to see you in September.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we will go on with a little simulation. So we will be doing a mock interview. Carl is ready to do it with me. So Carl, please join me here. Le ponemos esta, Carl.
Should I grab a chair?
Yes, but just let's put it, and I will bring the chair for you.
For this one? Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. How does this work? I put it like...
Yeah, just keep it somewhere and make sure that it sometimes has a little bit of background noise, but if it's stable, it's good.
like that.
Yeah. So the only thing is, so if you push it.
Okay, cool. Am I on? Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay. So, welcome, Carl.
Thanks.
So you told me that you were interested in a mock interview for investment banks, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Which kind of bank?
Yeah, so I'm looking into going into M&A.
Okay.
That's my long-term
Any
career.
specific bank?
Yeah, I'm really interested actually in both the Asian banks and the American banks, and I'd say because of two reasons. Partly, I'm half American, so I have aspirations to utilize mobility and go to America and potentially work there. But at the same time, I'm also really interested in the rapid change that's taking place in Asia. So,
Okay, let's start. So first of all, let's speak about your curriculum. Tell me about your background.
Absolutely, sure. So, maybe I'll tell you a little bit about how my experience in my past leads up to wanting to apply this position in this specific job. I guess we're pretending that I'm applying for a job. Yeah. So, through my past, I've had quite diverse experience. I've done a prior internship at Rocket Internet, so that's more business development and the venture capital side. But I've also worked back office at a few fund administration and asset management firms. So I've been exposed a little bit to both worlds. And I think what I've really, coming from both the finance side and having been in business development, I think that I've realized that I'm really interested and fascinated by the enabling role that capital markets play in growing societies, growing corporations, both growth equities and quick growing companies, but also providing liquidity to big companies to pursue their goals and grow, which in the long term also develop societies. So I think I've really become quite fascinated by that and brought that type of more practical, hands-on industry experience into my interest in finance and wanting to pursue investment banking.
Okay, thank you. Now that I have a clear picture about your background, let's speak about your personality. How would you describe yourself in terms of strengths and weaknesses? Let's say 3 and 3.
Definitely, sure. So, looking at 3 strengths, I'd say one of my first and foremost strengths that I think I could utilize going into investment banking would be the fact that I'm quite perseverant. I've developed that partly from work experience, but also from extracurricular activities such as sail racing, ocean racing, which requires a lot of perseverance, and you're out sailing for three days in a row. And usually you get quite tired, and you have to cope with teams that are not always, willing to cooperate and try to really pull it together and see a common goal. So that's one thing. I think the second thing is that I have, a very strong ability to set up strategic goals and very determinately pursue them. And also being able to influence people in my surroundings to share that common goal and be able to find the dynamics in a group and realize, how can we together as a team find these common objectives that we want to pursue and achieve. And I think that's quite important working in either consulting or investment banking or any type of very team-oriented and project-oriented workplace. And I think the last thing that I'd say is that I have quite strong execution skills, so I really make things happen. I know that if I have a deadline, I'll make sure to plan my time accordingly and really get to work quickly and not sit and ponder for too long. But at the same time, also try and balance that high sense of quality and at the same time keep balance for detail as well. So I'd say those are three main strengths. And following that, everything has a backside. So I think coming from the more executioner type of personality, I think sometimes you can miss details, you can be impatient, and you can really want to go into things quickly and make sure that you get to the point quickly. And sometimes you can miss details, sometimes you can not see the the importance in the moment of thinking twice and stopping up and really considering decisions and things that you're working with. And I think that that's something that I proactively work with, and I realize that sometimes my enthusiasm can have that effect. But knowing that, it gives you the ability to really work with it and proactively make sure you don't get stuck in that trap. Secondly, I'd also say that another thing that might be considered a weakness, but also a strength, but in this case maybe a weakness, is that I like working with several things at once and having many things going on and pursuing many goals at the same time. And when you only have, let's say, one goal that you're working with very intensively, and perhaps you have times when you have to wait and be patient and really, for example, if you're working on a project and you're waiting for input from another team that you're not receiving, and you're waiting for 2 days and you don't really have too much to do and you can't really work on other projects, then I can get quite impatient, and being able to find ways to fill that time can be struggling. And I'd say those are two things. And if you give me a last thing, then a third thing that I think that I might struggle with would be the fact that my high level of determination makes me quite assured about, and convinced about my vision. So I can usually feel that I have a strong conviction what I'm doing is the right thing. And I think many times what you realize that people have different perspectives, and being able to not always only follow your own, intuition and your own determination can be a good thing. Being able to take other people's visions into consideration and realize that you're not always right, and being able to sometimes let go and give other people responsibility in a team situation.
What if the different perspective is from your boss?
Yeah, well then it's perhaps important to both be critical, and I think a very important trait is to be straightforward and also be questioning and critical in a respectful way in all situations. So I think that if your boss has a different opinion than you, I think it's very important, especially if you think it's a valid, thought or determination that you have, that you do bring that up, because, having several opinions and second opinions and criticism to ideas is important to develop ideas and develop environments. But at the same time, coming in as a junior, you also have to realize that, you have to be humble to the greater knowledge of the people that you work with who have been in the industry for a long time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Tell me about a situation in which you had to face a conflict.
Sure. I had this situation when working at Rocket Internet, and I was working in a team together with a junior associate at the firm who, we were in a team before, and he had previously had experience with problems in in being able to implement his ideas with the executive we were working with. Pretty much what we were doing was developing corporate partnerships on the market side for a venture that that Rocket Internet was launching. And he felt quite convinced that he had a really good idea and he wanted to pursue it, but he felt quite confident that if we did bring it up initially, that it would be declined and that we wouldn't be able to work on it. And he said, let's keep working on this for a week and really try and prove some value and do the research, and then when we have a lot of stuff to actually present, then let's call up and have a conference with the executive in Berlin that we needed to. Needed to have this cleared with to be able to pursue this project. And it wasn't quite in line with the corporate strategy that we had for partnerships at the time. And I think the rest of the group felt this, and that we were working on something that wasn't quite endorsed by our executive. And what ended up happening is that we had to confront our team leader and talk to him and say that we don't feel that we share your belief in this and that we can actually spend this whole week working on this project that we are quite sure that our executive wouldn't want us to work on. So we had to confront him in that situation, and I think in the long term that was a good thing, because through the rest of the internship I had with Rocket, I really felt that me and Christian, my colleague, could work in a more straightforward way, and I could be more direct about what I felt and thought about things, and then he also knew what my opinion on these things were. So I think directness in such situations is really important, and not keeping your thoughts to yourself, and then maybe at a later stage that becomes emotional. It's better to have straightforward communication and take conflicts if necessary, because then you can usually avoid bigger conflicts. Yeah.
Tell me about your motivation for this position.
Absolutely. So I think looking at your firm and your strong connections in Asia, I think there are a few things that really motivate me to work at your firm. And one of them is, I know that you're perhaps not bulge bracket and you're not, JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, and you don't have the comfortability to sit back and wait for business to come to you. And I know that you're aggressively pursuing, the market, and you're really out there progressively chasing new deals, pitching on mandates and trying to build deals. And I really want to be a part of that, entrepreneurial drive and building of the organization. So that really attracts me. And I know that you have the cutting edge people and really, top talent, and being in such a progressive and entrepreneurial environment, but working with these types of big industrials and corporations and financial sponsors in this context, but in a more entrepreneurial sense, really, attracts me. Secondly, being a firm with strong roots in Asia, and being interested in mobility opportunities, I really think that coming to your firm, that I could really utilize that interest and go to perhaps Japan and China and other growing Asian markets and take part of that growth, and that would be beneficial both to me in my personal development, but also to your firm. So I think those are two core things that really motivate me to come to you.
Just the very last question. I give you 1 minute to convince me that you are the best candidate for this position among all the candidates I'm interviewing.
Definitely. Okay. So if you ask me why me, what sets me apart from everyone else, I'd say primarily 3 things that really go hand in hand. And the first thing is one of the strengths that I told you about. It's the fact that I'm perseverant. And even though sometimes you face adversity, and sometimes you're working on deals for long hours that you feel are really straining, and perhaps spending 20 hours per day in the office, then I really find the energy and the motivation to stick in there and really bite it together. And I can really actually enjoy that struggle, because that at the end of the day, when you've carried through the deal, you're going to be really satisfied. And the other thing is, the motivation that I talked about, combining that type of perseverance with the ability to actually motivate yourself and your environment to really strongly engage and feel for what you're working on. That really, I think that's something that really would help me in many situations to produce excellent results and really contribute to your firm. The last thing is that I'm not only in this for I can see both the short run benefits of going into career investment banking with gaining the solid valuation experience, working with Excel, working with PowerPoint, and working with in a more junior position. But I can also see I really feel that the long-term changes that you can do working in this industry and working at a higher level, where you can actually influence business decisions, where you can actually help companies grow, actually look at, how you can shape societies, go into new markets, and enable firms to, gain capital and liquidity to pursue their goals, I have that larger incentive to, really motivate myself in the long run as well. And I think those things together, will make me very successful in a career in investment banking. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any question?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we talked about this with the entrepreneurial culture in your firm, and I know that you do announce that a lot, and that's part of your, graduate marketing material. But in what ways would you say that really, comes to display? How in working in your firm, how would I experience that? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks.
So, your impression, how was that? How did you think it?
Thanks.
And of course, I will provide you my feedback as in a mock interview and generally with my students, but which are your impressions? Very good. Anything that you see as the area of improvement?
People are too polite.
Sorry?
People are too polite.
Maybe you have to answer a little bit shorter, so more directly.
Time management was a little bit on the limit. A recruiter will never stop you. You start to speak and you speak for half an hour, they will let you. They will possibly stop to listen to you, honestly, but they will let you go on. So yes, control the time. What else? It was absolutely a good performance, of course.
So I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but they should probably. Okay, so it's not like the advice because it's probably not a good idea, but he should probably make his answer sound more natural. I mean, like you prepared them, it's like it's visible that you thought about what you would answer about your weaknesses, your strengths. So probably like to think about it, or to, I don't know, to take some, breaks between your answers. I don't know if he should do that or not, but it's like my...
I would say that not necessarily, in the sense that a good candidate is a candidate that is prepared. And really common question, expected question as strengths and weaknesses. I wouldn't expect a candidate, well, let me think. No. It may happen that the interviewer will ask you something that you don't expect, and of course you can take your time to think. I mean, I had the impression that he was prepared, but in the good sense. It was not a robot just repeating things. Yes, please.
Regarding that question, I really liked the structure you had, because he had a build up and he started with the word, so it's you immediately know what his strength or what his weakness was, and then he used, for examples to explain that. So I really like the structure.
It was really powerful the way he was continuously linking his background with the profile decided by the company. So this was absolutely great to do. Any other advice, area of improvement?
Well, is it on? Yeah. Before anything, a very good presentation. I mean, you did very well. But at one stage, you started comparing the company to other companies and saying that they weren't as, well, indirectly, as good as the other ones. And I think that might be a bit dangerous at some stages, depending on the recruiter opposite you.
I think for me, actually, I did an interview with Asian Investment Bank recently, and they actually really premiered the fact and through the whole process, that they were proud that they were this number. They were proud that they, really out there pursuing business, and they do consider themselves, to be at a slight disadvantage, and they fight that. So it's something I practice for that interview actually. So, but maybe in most cases, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, still very good.
Thanks.
Okay, my feedback in general again, it was. Yes.
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you, because it takes some guts to go out here and do an interview, so thank you for that. Just small things. Too prepared, never. You're never too prepared. I understand somehow what you said, but as a recruiter, I expect you to come prepared. I do expect that. And if all the questions I'm asking you, I can see that you are responding them like that, don't worry. I will find a question that will make you sweat. I will, and I will love it. But come prepared, because that's what I'm expecting you. And you don't want to deceive me, so do come prepared. Time management, right? But overall, very well prepared. It's just a little bit too much. It's great. I mean, we will never, well, the recruiters, they will never stop you, because the more you talk, the more information I'm gathering. The more you talk, more mistakes you probably will make. So it's not good for you. It's good for me, but it's not good for you. So talk, yes, but manage your time and control what you're saying, which you did. It's not about you, but in general. Sometimes small is not better. Okay, thanks.
And another really specific feedback regarding the behavioral question, the situation when you faced a conflict. It was well structured. You were following the STAR method. For sure, you were conscious of it. In my opinion, there was two we. Whenever you use the STAR method, the action, the part about action is the most relevant one, and it always has to be what you did, because at the end, whenever a recruiter is asking for something you did in the past, it's because the idea is that your behavior in the past will help me to predict how will you act in the future inside my company. So if you hide yourself behind we, I should hire the same group of people to be sure that I will have the same behavior in the future. So it was the only little detail that could be improved, but in general, really, really good preparation. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay, so maybe we can go on with another activity now. I'm going to involve everybody. They were divided already in 7 groups, right? Ah, they are not. Okay, so I had a wrong. Okay, so now I give each one of you a number. So it will be the number of your team. So be sure that you are remembering this number. It's not difficult. You can do it. 1, 2.
For you to go into the master. Remember this one number. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. Okay, so now each team just group together in one side of the room. Just pull you together, and I need one representative of each team here.
Okay, guys, I want to share with you a small anecdote, because last week I went bowling with friends, and if I'm being very honest, I lost by 50 points, and I've never been so embarrassed in my life. I seriously did not know what to do, but then I found this.
So we have the perfect solution for that. It is basically a device you put on your finger, and in order to bowl the last pin, if you bowl, it aims up the angle and it hits right the last pin, so you're never gonna miss your target.
Yeah, I have to agree. With this tool, you can just stay there, have a beer in one hand, and just aim at the pins, and it gets really easy. And furthermore, I mean, yeah, we were all very bad players, but with this tool, we became like the local stars of our bowling facility, and it's, yeah, we could not live without it.
So, but you're not only buying a name, you can think everyone can practice, so you can hit the last target, but by buying this product, you will gain entries to a forum where you can share experiences, techniques, so in order to improve your game, to outwin your friends.
Yeah, great, and we will offer many special offers through bowling centers, and we target definitely the beginners, because the beginners gain access to special targeting and more precise aims through this device.
So next time you go bowling, if you really want to impress your friends and see what you're able to do, you definitely should buy this product and show your abilities in this amazing game in bowling. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you want. No? Thanks.
Group, and we have, oh, sorry. Yeah, this invention really needs a microphone because everyone needs to hear about it because it's revolutionary. What is the thing that you care most in life? Is it drinking beer? Is it having fun at bowling games? I don't think so. What you really care in life is children. Children are the most wonderful thing that there is in life. But it's also the most horrible thing that you can think of when there is one sitting next to you in the plane, or when they're screaming or running all around in the house. It's because they have a resource that is very precious and that we adults lack. It's energy. They have lots of energy, and they don't know what to do with their energy because they're so young and, well, their intellectual capabilities are not used to the maximum. So we have to help them. That's our role. We should educate them and teach them what's good for them. And one of the ways of doing this is by channeling their energy into doing something useful that will help them being better human beings in the future. And that's the tricycle lawnmower. The idea is very simple. You just add a small element to a tricycle that basically, cuts the lawn for you, mows the lawn for you. And so you have nothing to do. You just let your children play around the house and they will mow the lawn for you. And so it has an educational purpose. It is also healthy, a healthy activity. Your children won't stay inside the house and play video games. They will be outside, interacting with nature, learning things about life. And that is really what we want them to do. Now you may be worried about safety. Well, you shouldn't. Safety was at the heart of the development of this project. It is made in Germany. It is made with the best materials. And more importantly, the only thing that we will get hurt in this process is the grass. And you will end up with having a beautiful garden, and all your neighbors will envy you. Not only because of the garden, of course, but because they will see that your children are calm and respectful. And that will really impress everyone in the neighborhood. Now you may think, how do you come up with such a revolutionary product without, breaking, your finances for the whole year? It's very easy. It's very simple. Next time you go to a shop, instead of buying a PlayStation 4 that costs 400 euro, or Nintendo and all the accessories that will also cost 400 euro, or instead of having your children go and see the doctor because he's not fit enough, he's not eating well, or he's simply depressed because he stays inside all the time, you won't have to think about all that because you will have invested in the future of your children, and that has absolutely no price, so no worries about that. I really hope that you enjoy our new invention that will be available everywhere.
Number 4. Excuse me, are you going for the marketing?
As I suppose, I suppose that you all have ever been in the campsite or in the mountain, or at least one time. So you all know that being there, it sometimes can be not a nice experience due to the insects or mosquitoes and things like that. So we think about that and we create the insect ball, which is something that we put in our head, and it prevents you from the insects.
Project name Eyeballs. For name,
Eyeball.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, so our solution to this problem of being clogged up with mosquitoes in your face when you're trying to fish or when you're out in the forest, doing your thing, then that's eyeballs. And eyeballs is this really seamless little antenna that you put on your cap, and it both works as a mosquito attractant, not a repellent. So the mosquitoes will be attracted behind your head, out of vision and out of sight, so you don't have to worry about them. And at the same time, it also works as this really neat little lamp when you're out in the forest just crawling around looking for mushrooms and stuff. And we think that with this, we can really have a seamless solution. You don't need any resources. You don't need to carry your mosquito repellents and all that stuff, and it's really cost efficient. So you'll end up saving, so much money through using this throughout your whole lifetime.
Of course, we have different solutions with eyeballs. For example, our it also can help us in medicine, and our professor can present you the advantages of this decision.
Okay, so you can choose any color, anything you want in this hat is completely personalized, so you can go anywhere you want in the campaign and prove it. A great thing about this is that you can actually connect this with applications, like with your phone or with your watches now. And you can see the GPS and see where you are, where will you go, how much have you run or walked. So it's a great application that, besides insects, also helps you have a GPS, and it's completely personalized, so you can pick whatever you like.
And the eyeballs is good to tours and excursions or safaris to repel the insects, the annoying insects that are boring us and can affect our visits to the desert or something else, place like this.
So finally, what can we say about our device? We also can connect it with eyeballs, and everybody who every month won the competition between another users won 1,000 euros. So you can kill insects and you will have a score. You can share it in Instagram and Facebook also. Of course, it's really important because, for example, in some countries there are a lot of viruses which can insects when they cut you, like Ebola and other, and it saves you. Of course, we have medicine center and we have statistics that our device in a place where it was tested, the level of viruses was go down. In summary, we also have some projects with Porsche Design and Adidas. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thing number 5.
Hello. So let me ask you guys, do you like dogs? Does anybody here have a dog? Aren't you just bored of the usual old dog park? I mean, maybe you can share some insights on how to improve the situation.
Also, are you tired of cleaning your dog every day? Are you tired of brush your dogs and everything you have to do every day? I think use our invention. What you have to do is only to walk your dog in the water and the work is done.
As well, are you tired of doing always the same tricks with your dog in the plain soil? Now you can do it. Do a wider range of tricks inside the water, maybe even a full flip in the air. So this invention will make you show off exactly all the capabilities that your dog can do.
So are you tired just to walk in the park with your dog? Don't you want to go out of the beaten track and like explore new horizon with one of your best mates?
Finally, the question is, don't you want to share your favorite hobby, which is scuba diving, with your best mate, which is your dog?
So yeah, the solution to all of these problems, if you've wondered what can, like something has to be so great to cover all of this, is Jacques Fideau. And maybe you guys know the famous explorer Jacques Cousteau, so there's obviously a wordplay on him, because what we have is a scuba diving kit for your dog, basically. But it's not only that, like as if you ever cared for the dog going to the moon, but we don't know anything about the ocean. So you can go with your dog exploring the oceans, since that's what you do like all the day anyway. And like the special features that you can have is the dog will have a 360-degree like bulb on his head, and maybe that this also remembers you of the first people that went to the moon, and it makes him look very fashionable. And your friends will ask you like, yeah, like how come your dog is so up to date with like all the technology? So yeah, and you can also talk to your dog underwater, because you will be connected while you have it through a speaker system, and then you can like teach him the tricks that were already mentioned underwater, and you can like do special bonds with your dog that you will never have on the normal ground, because your dog has so much distractions when he's like when you walk with him on the park, but underwater he will just have like his view for the fishes and everything that's looks much more interesting underwater and that you've never actually thought about. So Jacques Fido will improve your special friend relationship just that little bit more. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to be talking about uphill skiing. Now, this product is basically a ventilator that is run by a lawnmower machine that is attached to your back. This will allow you to travel anywhere on the slopes and live a new experience of what skiing really should be, is discovering all the off-pistes you want, going up and down the hills, seeing different parts of slopes that nobody has probably been to or seen ever. This is also an advantage that will be great for skiing resorts. They'll be able to create special off-pistes and accommodate all sorts of clientele that like to do extreme sports, even if it's using this ventilator system that will boost your power down the slopes, which could be a bit dangerous. So that's why it will be an Olympic extreme sports sport. Also, discovery, the Antarctic. Who would like to go and visit the Antarctic and not have to worry about doing flat skiing all the way to the North Pole? It's an incredible experience. After that, I think I'm going to leave a little bit more of information on the experience of it to my friends.
Thank you. Well, now you probably think, how can I actually access this new device? And this is the great thing about it. We can now use already existing supply chain tools and go to all the skiing rental shops, or we can also use the regular sport shops in areas where skiing is not an issue yet, where only snow exists. Also, the good thing about it is it can be provided at low cost because you can rent it. Just as regular skiing devices, you have the perfect opportunity to, be on the low risk side of it and just rent it and try to use it for the first time, and then you can make the full investment and try our uphill skiing item, for your whole lifetime.
Is it on? Okay. As Dimitri already said, no? Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's better. Okay, as Dimitri already said, this is an extremely adventurous kind of sport, but that's not everything to it. However, how many times have you been in that situation when it starts snowing outside, and the only thing you want to do is go ski, but you're stuck in the city? So what can you do? Well, with this crazy innovative new product, you can just take your ski, go outside, and just ski through the streets and discover your city in a completely new way.
And the very big thing about this is this business opportunity, you can have it everywhere, anywhere you want. Who does know this song, Hey, Hey, baby. Ooh. Who knows the song? Hands up. All right. So imagine you're somewhere in Switzerland, Austria, or anywhere else in this world, and you get out of the après-ski bar and you have your little thing on with your headphones in. Awesome, right? So the important thing is it's not only Austrian, Switzerland, or France people. Pardon? Oh, okay.
Okay. Team number 7. Do you have the leader?
Hello, everyone. Have you ever come home from a day at the beach, realizing that you just brought home half the sand of the beach on your feet? Have you ever walked on hot sand and burned your feet so that you couldn't walk for days? Do you know that walking with bare feet is considered as extremely rude in most Asian countries? Well, these problems might seem insignificant to you, but do you know that as much as 20% of the land on the planet of Earth consists of sand? Well, shocking, right? It's a major problem. But no worries, because we've come up with a brilliant solution. And my group of friends here will tell you more about it and how this product helped them solve their horrible situations.
Okay, so let me introduce the solution that we have now. So the solution, does anybody know what we can do with that? So to come up quickly with the solution, like to avoid like burning or avoid sand everywhere, or to avoid, you know, like walking down the beach like very, okay. A beach shoe. So it's probably it. It's a beach rollers. So now that we have those extremely sophisticated decision to our problem is the beach rollers. So you can wear them everywhere. So you wear them and they look very fashionable. So it can be customized. For example, it can be whatever color you want, or you can put, I don't know, Swarovskis or something like that. So whatever you want. You can also buy those shoes for your kids so you can have fun on the beach, so rolling around with your kids. You can also buy the smallest ones and to give them to your dog. So if your dog likes scuba diving, then he will probably like the roller skating down the beach. So from now on, everything you need to take on the beach is the beach boots. So you can take the swimsuit if you want as well, but the beach boots are your must. So now if you guys say to your girl like, let's go to the beach and do some rolling, so it means that you will buy her this beach boots and just roll down the beach. Those are guys who just came from the vacation, and they wanted to tell you how good those beach boots are and how they had fun with it.
This is like a mixture of a ski boot, something between a ski boot, a tongue roller or something like that, but it's really useful. It's what engineers call a smart solution. Yeah, okay. That's nice.
Okay, so now it's one of you can vote again. Please don't not vote for your own team. Here you have, Here you have the list of the invention presented. Be fast, so we can count and declare the winner. Ready? There are more here if you need. Just cross the name, the number of the team that you prefer.
Yeah, just one. Sorry, yeah, just one. No, one, and you cannot include your own team. Es una.
Just cross the number of your preferred team. Just one.
One. Perfecta. Venga.
Shall I give it to you?
Yes, okay. Thank you. Voy viendo por grupos, ¿vale? Tú miras y ya luego. 3, 6, 5, 1, 3, 4, 9,
So whenever we end up in the same semester, you choose a presentation.
Everyone already gave the paper, yeah?
So the winner is team number 3. Please come here. The whole thing. Yeah. Come. Come on. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Elements that you will be facing a lot from next year on. The elevator pitch. What is an elevator pitch? Why are we using them? Come on, you, the champion of elevator pitch. Could you define the elevator pitch? Okay. Yes, it's a way to catch the attention of the person in front of you in order to sell a person, a product, and so on. Why it is relevant? Because it can provide you a lot of opportunities. And when are you going to use it? Of course, whenever you will be working with people in career fairs, events, and so on. And of course, during the job interviews, because the very first question will always be, tell me about yourself. So you have to be really good in elevator pitch. And the second thing we were doing was a case competition. Have you any experience with case competitions? Have you ever done any? What was your case competition?
I participated at the NUS case competition and the SICC case competition.
Okay, so which was the experience? What do you?
Well, it's pretty challenging to work 24 hours on the same case, and then you have to develop a kick-ass strategy and convince an international judge, and having these competitive other universities there. But it's a good experience.
Okay, and why is useful? Because of course you put in practice a lot of skills that you are learning. You present in front of amazing companies, so it's always an opportunity to shine, to have an impact on them, and generally they will be offering positions to really successful people. So again, case competition, we'll be presenting a lot of them during the next year, are crucial, are really amazing opportunity to spend good time, to work a lot, of course, but also to improve your skills and to create new opportunities for you. So this was the main idea behind our activity that I hope was nice and funny for you. Thank you so much for your participation. It was really amazing. And
just one last comment, may I ask one last comment? Probably all of you did the vote in this criteria, but at the end it's not so much a product, but how you present the product. So communication is everything. Just briefly, I had hundreds, a lot more than candidates. They were awesome, they had great profiles, but because they didn't know how to communicate, they didn't go through, and it's a shame. So work on your communication skills, it's basic. So just for you to keep that in mind. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Okay. Yes, you already did. No problem, please.
As we both need to catch a plane and we need to leave now, and I'd like to thank for the nice day you kind of managed to prepare, and I just don't want to leave French, or how do you call it?
That's a very good reason for interrupting, and although not, please catch your plane. And maybe not everybody has to catch a plane, but you will all want to go to Barcelona or Sant Cugat, as we discussed earlier in the panel, to explore a bit more. So we are going to be very, very brief. We just want to maybe have 5 minutes to close this day off. We will take some burning, urgent questions that are still there, but we do not pretend nor hope to answer all your questions in one day. Actually, what we do hope that new questions are coming up after being here today, and that is not the end, but actually the beginning of a long-lasting relationship with ESADE that actually goes through admissions, through programs, careers, alumni. Yeah? So that's to start with. Quickly want to rewind to this morning when I mentioned that you can read online reviews of a restaurant, you can look at photos of a nice hamburger, but until you've actually tasted the food, you don't know what it is. And that was today's objective, to give you a taste of ESADE. Yeah? We hope we have been able to do that. For us, it's always a great joy to see a lot of new talent coming in. We get energized by the people who come here, the students, the candidates, the alumni who keep giving back to the organization. So this is our objective, sharing a little bit with you what ESADE stands for, beyond things that you can read online. We do encourage you to, of course, stay in touch. Our admissions team travels across the world. So just if you go online and find out next events, you will be pleasantly surprised that we are going to be near you sometime soon. Yeah? So that is a good way. You can always reach out individually if you require more feedback, for example, on your profile, or want to have more specific questions that you may not want to reach out now, because this is, of course, a moment that is a long day and people are looking forward maybe to unwind or recapitulate their thoughts. Having said that, it is an official Q&A, and what would be a Q&A without any questions? So who is the brave-hearted soul, and who has, a question that maybe we can take in this plenary session? I hope I haven't been too harsh. Yeah. Okay,
well,
then.
I got a question during lunchtime from several candidates, and the question was if it's possible to submit the online portion of the application if you haven't taken the GMAT or the official English test.
Good
like
question.
The IELTS or the TOEFL. So what is this about?
Sorry, I am going to answer. Yes, the answer
well,
is.
I can answer myself, but I've been speaking really long this morning, so I think that maybe it's better that
the
you do
answer
it.
is yes.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Okay.
Another question that I got during lunchtime, because guys, I don't know why you are so shy. You were asking me so many questions during lunchtime, and I didn't answer all of them because we didn't have time. But another question was about the SEMS program and the application process. They wanted to know if they have to apply now for the SEMS program, or they can wait until they are actually in the finance or marketing program and then apply for the next year.
Yeah, Okay. Now, the SEMS program you have to apply right now. Well, right now, I mean, when you apply for your for your program, what happens with the SEMS program? Let me put it graphically so you will remember. Most of you live in cities or have lived in cities, and when you have a big motorway with 4 lanes and 3 lanes are closed, you get quite a traffic jam. Now, that happens when you go to the application process for the SEMS program, because out of all our 4 master programs, we can only actually allow a certain number of people to go into the SEMS program. Yeah? So if you're interested in SEMS, my advice would be don't wait too long, because the SEMS program will be full earlier than the individual programs. Yeah? We're now talking February, so it's not too late. We still have plenty of time, but don't wait too long with an application specifically for the SEMS if that's also of your interest. Yeah. So to answer your question, if you're interested in SEMS, you have to do that simultaneously with the application for your master program to ESADE.
We never have time to ask questions. Is it on? Yeah? It's okay. What is this thing called Creopolis?
That's a very good question, Mary Granger. Very good question. Today we spoke several times about innovation, not just in terms of our master in innovation and entrepreneurship, but in general, ESADE we pride ourselves on being a very innovative school. And the reason why we are here is twofold. First of all, this is our international hub of all our international students. And secondly, Creopolis, thank you for the question, is a center for open and cross innovation. So we do not only have a lot of students physically on campus here, we also have 70 companies who are located right here on campus. And there are a lot of connection points integrated into your master programs to actually have contacts with these companies, help them. So it's actually also a value-added thing for the companies to be here, because they are in touch with our Masters of Science, with our undergrad and our MBA students who are all on campus. So Creopolis is a center for open and cross innovation. Let me put it this way. Maybe I'm being a little bit over-optimistic here, but it is the European Silicon Valley. Yeah, so then we all know what we're talking about. Innovation, entrepreneurship, and business startups, business incubators. That's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I have an add-on question to your GMAT question. So we can apply even if we do not have a GMAT yet. Well, when is the date when we have to have it?
If you don't want to get stuck in that traffic jam that I mentioned for the SEMS program, you have to try to get it early. There is no, well, officially we have a final deadline that's sometime in the summer, but one thing is a deadline that we publish. Another thing is the available places. So obviously the longer someone waits with the GMAT, the longer we take to give you a final decision. So my advice would be here, keep communication open with your direct contact in admission, so to see how things are going, but it's very difficult for me to give a particular date because it very much depends on how applications are coming in. As Christina was saying, we've been seeing an increase, steep increase in the number of applications. So basically, well, every year the programs are full at some stage in the year, but we don't know yet when that's going to be. The reason why we allow students, candidates, to actually apply to us without having done a GMAT is that we're actually even more interested in you than your GMAT. So we are able to already look at your application. In many ways, we will be able to do an interview, maybe even an interview already without the GMAT. So because we place people always above GPAs and GMATs. But having said that, GPAs and GMATs are very important. Yeah? So this is the reason why I think we are a bit more flexible than you may see in some other admissions processes.
So if you apply for, I think next round is around 5, without having the GMAT, you just get moved to the next rounds. Okay.
Yeah, you get moved to the next round for your final decision, but you will see that there will be interaction taking place. You'll obviously be invited for events in your region, which, if I correctly remember, because I spoke to a lot of people, was Noord-Rijn-Westfalen. Yes, so there will be events in Köln. So keep your eyes open for that. Yes. Okay.
Is it the same with the transcripts? Because as long as I haven't finished my degree, I can't submit a formal transcript.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Elizabeth. Is it the same with the transcript? What you can do at the time of apply, you can send your sort of transcript that you've been given during the time at your university, which will not be the official one yet complete, but you can supply what you already have. And in most of our cases, our students, our candidates apply before they have actually officially graduated. Yeah? So what you then get in the best of cases is like a conditional admit upon graduation. Yeah? So it would only mean that we would love to have you at ESADE in that case, but of course the condition would be that you would have to graduate. Now, if something would happen and you would not graduate, in those cases, that has only very few times has happened, then usually those people have rolled over into the next year. But most people are not yet in a position to give their official transcript completed because they're still studying. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question regarding something we haven't quite touched on today, but I find quite interesting, is the alumni network. You know, how strong is that, and you know, how big is it, and how active is it? And
that's a very good question. Thank you for that. Unlike marriage, you can't divorce from your business school. Yeah. So you are tied to the alumni network, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So luckily, most people like it, and that's why it's such a strong network. So how do we organize that? Here we have to think a little bit, not just in particular program terms, but ESADE-wide. Yeah. Because we connect all our different programs, and they all, you know, filter into the same strong alumni network, which is currently around 50,000 people big. Yeah? So that's a massive network. We have all kinds of functional clubs as well as geographical chapters, I can say. For example, for those who do not live in Barcelona, you'll probably would like to know as well, hey, what can I do from an alumni perspective when I may go home or go to work elsewhere? So a lot of the people who have that international career, and now we have about 10,000 people from the alumni network who live outside of Spain, because mind you, this is combining all the different programs, so it includes also local programs. And for those who live abroad, we have the so-called international chapters. There's currently 33 chapters up and running, and they are a very active platform to continually engage in discussions. Often when faculty would travel, they would build something around it. I've just returned from a 3-week trip in the United States and Canada, where we actually had 4 alumni chapter organized events, where we had obviously a lot of alumni, but also candidates who could join and actually already get a taste of what ESADE is about. So that would be the alumni network in terms of organization, but then there's also all kinds of activities that they do online. Yeah? So you have an online network of recruiting, you have an online training. That is for people who become an active member of the Alumni Association. It's a very important question. Thanks for bringing it up, because the Alumni Association is something that is of lifelong value for any program that you would do at ESADE or any other, of course, top business school. Yeah? And which is another reason why we take admissions so seriously, because actually now I'm looking at future alumni. Yeah, probably not all of you, but definitely some of you, yeah? Good. Yeah, no, so then maybe this is a good time to thank you again for coming here, for taking the effort to, to make yourself available to come to Sant Cugat, to come to Barcelona to visit us. A true pleasure. Like I said, I hope this is not the end, but rather the beginning of a long-lasting relationship through alumni network, for example. And enjoy your weekend wherever that may be. I hope you have a time, for those who are not from here, to stay a little longer and enjoy the city. And one final logistical comment. Some of you have their interview now. Of course, you have been pre-informed about that. For those who have the interview, please just stay here in the room, and your interviewer will connect with you and will be somewhere here. For those who do not have the interview, happy weekend. For those who have the interview, happy weekend in just a little bit from now. Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.